Hello my lovelies, hello my besties, and welcome back to another week on this bookish space of the internet. How are you? I have missed you. It feels like forever since I've posted it. It's only been a week. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video, but one of my goals is to be your comfort bookish creator. So that means every time that we watch a video together, we are going to get a hydration drink, a fun drink, and get a snack, and we are going to sit down and you are going to eat and take care of yourself and hydrate while we watch a video. Now, I clearly don't practice what I preach because I did leave my water bottle downstairs and I have had 2 Red Bulls today, so I cannot have any more. But today we are going to do a get to know me booktuber edition. Now, there are so many other creators on booktube that have actually done this video, and I did not watch any of them because I wanted to have just an open and honest discussion with you guys, and I also didn't want anything to influence, if that makes sense. So I actually do not know any questions. I don't know anything to answer, so we're just gonna wing this together and we're gonna see if by the end of it I become someone you want to subscribe to. Hopefully you do, but if you decide that I'm not your cup of tea, that's totally okay too. So clearly I like to read, but first let's get to know a little bit about me. My name is Bree. I am a 27-year-old stay-at-home mum. I have 2 daughters. I have a 2-year-old and I also have a now 5-month-old. So trying to find the time to come up with not only a bookish career, but also just a motherhood career. And on top of all of that, write my debut novel. I don't know how I'm not burning on fumes at the end of the day. I live in Australia. Currently I'm in Queensland, but I will be moving shortly to New South Wales. I was born and raised in New South Wales. I did a 6-month stint over in New Zealand where I lived there, and I have lived in Queensland for a very big chunk of my life, and it's all my daughters have known. However, we are going to make the move very, very soon down to New South Wales. I'm simultaneously nervous and excited for it, but hopefully it is going to be a really big life-changing thing for us by having a family support around. All of our family lives in New South Wales. That is a big reason as to why we are moving. This is not bookish related at all, but I have had a really big year medically. I had quite a traumatic birth. I did hemorrhage with my second. I also had gallstones. I had my gallbladder removed, and then I gave myself acute pancreatitis. And then on top of that, we tried to add my daughter to daycare, and she kept bringing home daycare sicknesses that ended up with her in the hospital twice, and then she ended up in the hospital a 3rd time with an ambulance ride for something completely unrelated. So it's just been a totally scary medical year for us, and we've just decided that being closer to family is the best thing for us. My favorite color is yellow. My favorite drink in the world is a Red Bull. I'm very much a soft pop girly. I do like to listen to Gracie Abrams, Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, but I also do like to listen to indie music like the 1975. I'm also such a big One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer girl as well. I used to write fan fictions over on Wattpad and on Archive of Our Own. I used to write Twilight, One Direction, and Haikyuu fan fiction. I used to be one of those writers up until 3 a.m. posting. I wanted to be an author probably since I was a child. I used to write stories on my nan's computer, and now that I'm an adult, I wanted to publish my first novel by the time I was 25. I am now 27 and that has not happened, so I'm currently in the process of trying to write my debut novel. I do have a bookish author account over on my TikTok. I also just have a normal bookish account on there as well. If you're interested, if you're after something a bit more bookish, I also do have a motherhood account where I post about all things to do with my motherhood, including daily vlogs and things like that. I have been with my partner Dan for the past 6 years. We met together at Hungry Jack's where we both worked. We were friends for a year before we started dating. We also have 2 cats, Ellie and Willow. They are both 5 years old and they are neonatal rescues. I am someone that wears a lot of graphic tees / bright colors. I also love comfy fuzzy house socks. I do like to build Lego when I have the time. I also like to colour, but I don't colour often. I'm really into long-form early 2000 shows like Grey's Anatomy and Criminal Minds. I have not actually watched Gilmore Girls. I do plan on watching that this year. I also have not watched One Tree Hill. I do think I want to watch that because I do know that One Tree Hill is kind of what's inspired Boys of Tommen, and I love Boys of Tommen. I'm very much an anxious girl at heart. I am a type A planner. I stress the F out all the time. I try to have everything planned to the point that I literally have a video planned every single week for the rest of the year for my YouTube channel, and that to me is insane. That's 4 months worth of content already pre-planned. I'm trying to think of some interesting things about me, but honestly, in my mind, there's just not a lot that's interesting about me. I am a bit of a Marvel geek. I don't know a lot of like theory-based stuff, but I do watch the movies. I am definitely a Disney adult, with my favorite being Tangled and Beauty and the Beast. I have a little blind date with a book Etsy, but so far no one's bought anything from it, so they're just kind of sitting there, but it was really fun when I made them. My partner and I love the Avatar movies, like not The Last Airbender, but the Blue People. I feel like now we can get onto the bookish portion. I love to read contemporary romance, dark romance, and romantasy. However, I do tend to read dark romance the most on my e-reader, and then contemporary romance is the most in physical copies because I have so many of them. But every time that I'm in a slump, my Kindle is my best friend, and I will read the filthiest, smuttiest, most dark romances ever, and that would tend to bring me right out of it. I used to really prefer paperbacks, but now I'm really getting into my Kindle. Like, I love my Kindle, and it's been lagging on me a lot, and it's my birthday next month, so I am thinking of buying myself a new Kindle for my birthday. But I have also been debating a Kobo because a lot of people really like Kobo, but I love my Kindle Unlimited, so it's really difficult. Another show that I love that I forgot to mention, Modern Family. I fucking love Modern Family. That is my comfort show of all time. I rewatched that thing probably well over 1,000 times. I think literally over 100 times since my baby has been born, and she's 5 months old. I tend to just have it on in the background while I do things because I'm pretty sure I have undiagnosed ADHD, which I may very well possibly be trying to diagnose soon, but we're not sure. I'm looking into getting a therapist. If you need some help up here, guys, make sure you get a therapist. Do not be afraid to get a therapist. I don't know why I'm just holding my lip balm like it's a microphone, but you know, we're having fun, so we're gonna keep going. An author I have discovered that I love recently is Hannah Bonham-Young. I have only read 2 of her books. I've only read Out on a Limb and Next of Kin, but they were both 5-star, if not 6-star reads to me, so I love those, and I'm very excited to read more from this author. Books that got me into reading were books like The Maze Runner, Divergent, The Hunger Games. I loved those books. And then the book series that came after it were kind of like John Green, Rainbow Rowell, and then also Katie McGarry. For me, I loved Katie McGarry. I still do, actually. I reread some of her books every year. The Mortal Instruments were also books that I read as a child. The Gone series, I ate the Gone series up. It's just like an 8 book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a 7-book series that I ate up. I read all 7 books in a week. Don't ask me how I did that because they are thick beasts too. Some book series that I'm really excited to read, Shatter Me. I have read the first 3 and I stupidly thought it was a trilogy, but I read it years ago. Stupidly thought it was a trilogy, so I just never picked it back up again. I thought that was a weird way to end it, and then I just never touched it again, and now it's like an 8-book series, and I'm like, but that is becoming a reading vlog soon. And another book series that I'm excited to read that is also going to become a reading vlog is Akatar, and another one on top of that is going to be Zodiac Academy. I'm planning on doing a few reading vlogs, so those are the ones that I have planned. So Shatter Me, Akatar, and Zodiac Academy. Book series that I read but I don't get the obsessive hype over is The Addicted Callaways. I did like it. But honestly, I think my disgust for Daisy and Reich kind of ruined it, in my opinion. I loved Connor and Rose. They made that book series for me. But honestly, Lily and Lo, I could kind of be with or without, to be honest. And Daisy and Reich, they were a grey area, hey. Controversial opinion, grey area for me. I love Fourth Wing, I love Quicksilver. I have yet to read Brimstone, but I'm planning on reading that soon. I love the Legacy of Gods series. I actually really do enjoy a lot of Rena Kent's books, but I haven't read all of them. Like, I haven't read the Legacy of Gods Parent, but like I've read other books like The Monsters and the one with Adrian. I forget his one's called Vow of Deception and whatnot. And then I've read her like Tempting Venom. I haven't read the last one, but I've read like that series, Sweet Venom, I think. See, I read all of these on Kindle and then I forget about what they're called. Some auto by authors for me would have to be now Hannah Bonham-Young. I really also like Liz Tom-Forty. Elsie Silver a lot of the time is an auto by author, but I'm starting to a little bit kind of outgrow Elsie Silver. I do really enjoy her books, but I just read Fever Dream, and I don't know if it was just because I wasn't a huge fan of Fever Dream, but I read it and it was kind of like so now it's just kind of like put me off Elsie Silver just a little bit. Danielle Laurie is an auto by author for me if she were to ever release any more books. I also love Sam Sketcher. She has the Sinners Anonymous series. An author that I think is underrated is Bea Celeste. She has a college football series called the Linda News series, and they honestly, a lot of the books I rated 4.5 stars. I thought they were really good. Another author that I really like is Paisley Hope. I also like that she bounces around genres. I think that's really cool. Some books that I'm excited to read. I do know that Kate Stewart has just come out with like Drive and Reverse. A lot of people are raving about that, so I'm very excited to read that. I also did just buy Yesteryear, which is like a book about like a small farm influencer or something, and everyone is either hating it or loving it, so I'm excited to give my input on that. I'm also scared to read Alchemize, but I do plan on reading that soon. I've read the Lights Out series. I definitely think Lights Out is really good, but honestly, I think the other two were a little bit try too hard, and they, to me, did not compare to Lights Out. Another author that I absolutely love is Mariana Zapata. I love her slow burns. I think at this point, I have read every single one of her books But The Things We Water, I haven't read that one yet for some reason. I just keep putting it off. I feel like there are a lot of authors that I'm slowly starting to outgrow, like Lucy Score, Anna Huang. A lot of people really like her King of Sin series. I didn't really. I actually unhauled them from my shelf because I kind of just got over them really quickly. I left the Twisted series because they're more sentimental to me, because they got me back into reading. But give me dark romance any day of the week and I will eat that shit up. I love the Sinners Anonymous series. I love the, what are they called? The Daniel Lowe, the Made Men. I love the Made Men series, but I hate that there has not been another one in years. I'm pretty sure there's meant to be another one coming out, but like the date has not been announced, and I'm pretty sure it's been well over 4 or 5 years since the last book's been out. But it's almost like the Sinners Anonymous series, because that one they released so slowly. I'm pretty sure the last one, which is Gabe and Wren's book, and honestly they are my favorite. I love Gabe and Wren. They have literally, their book came out I believe at the beginning of the year or last year. I cannot remember now because like I read it as soon as it came out and now it's like a blur of books. But anyway, when it came out I read it and I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, it had been like 2 years since her last book released, and now they're pretty much going to say it's going to take her like another 2 or 3 years to release it, and it's a part 1 of 2. Oh my god, how could I have not fucking mentioned Boys of Tommen? I love Boys of Tommen with an absolute passion. Now, I'm not a toxic fangirl. I really love Boys of Tommen to the point that I will cry over it if you start talking to me about it, but I'm not like crazy. Okay, well that's a lie. I am crazy, but I'm not like a bully crazy when it comes to Boys of Tommen. Some girls or guys really kind of dig in and like claw, and like they're really nasty about it. Not me. I'm a low-key fan girl when it comes. That's an absolute fucking lie. I love Boys of Tommen to the point that I will cry over it randomly. Every time I start crying, sometimes my partner will literally be like, "Is a Boys of Tommen?" And I'm like, yeah, it is. I was literally driving in the car the other day. I love, like, I drive. I don't drive. My boyfriend was driving the other day, and Noah Kahan song came on, and I cried because the songs reminded me of Lizzie Young. And he's like, why are you crying? I'm like, Boys of Tommen. And he goes, are you actually fucking kidding me? I was like, there's also a lady just like doing laps in front of my house. Get your steps in, queen. I think this has been really fun. This is like you guys getting to know me without like a script in hand. You guys kind of getting how chaotic it is in my brain at all times. I'm like looking at my bookshelf trying to think of things to talk about. A book series that I think is criminally underrated is the Strange Angel series by Lily St. Croix. They are kind of like a young adult, not a young adult, teenage series, I guess. I don't know if it's a teenager or young adult. It's been a really long time since I've read it, but I do plan on rereading it soon. Anyway, she eventually gets stuck in a love triangle with a guy that she gets transformed into a mythical creature, and a guy that used to date her mother. I wish I was kidding. I wish I was joking, but I am not. She's in a love interest with a mythical creature that she created. Like, not in the sense of like Frankenstein, she created it, but also like in the sense of if it wasn't for her, he would not be a mythical creature. But, and then her mother's ex, like her dead mother's ex-boyfriend. Also, her dad was a zombie. Like, she had to kill her zombie dad. So if that sounds interesting to you, you would love Strange Angels by Lily St. Croix. It is such a good series. And honestly, I felt so psychic with that series because this was like way back before like Goodreads was a thing and I could like look up when a new book was coming out. I had read the first 4 because it's a 5-book series. I read the first 4 and I once went to sleep and I had a dream. I was like, I think the 5th book's coming out soon. And literally, I never got pocket money as a kid. My dad would take me to the bookstore at the end on every Friday. He would take me to a bookstore after work and I would get a book, and that would be kind of like my reward, I guess. Not every week, just like every now and then kind of thing. I made it sound like we were rich. We were not rich. We were very broke when I was growing up. But, and then that weekend I went there and I'm like, oh my fucking god, there's book 5. I'm a psychic. I knew it. I'm psychic. There was 5 books. And I read it that night and I loved it. Oh my god, but like a little bit more about the books that I'm writing. Hi, my name's Bree. I'm an aspiring author. I write over nighttime when my kids are asleep or during their nap time. I'm currently doing 2 works in progress. I am doing 2 books. I'm doing a contemporary romance that is kind of a mix of Cheaper by the Dozen 2 because of the lake and like the feuding families, and also the game plan where he randomly just like rocks up with a kid at his door. And I am also doing a dark romance mafia marriage of convenience where basically it's this granddad that they call the king of pigs. He has all these grandchildren. They don't go to traditional school. Their parents raise them to basically be merciless killers and men pleasers. So the the boys are taught to basically be next generation mafia made men, and the women are taught to just be meek, mild, just do whatever the man does. Like if a man wants to kill them, you just have to say, okay, diva, and then let them. And that is so controversial, and like it is something that one of the granddaughters points out all the fucking time. Basically, they are taught to be the perfect mafia husbands and wives. And let's just say someone tries to break onto their island and sees one of those mafia wives and says, that one's fucking mine. It's also kind of loosely inspired, also not really, but loosely inspired by Beauty and the Beast. So they actually do call the man the Beast, because he's kind of like a legend, and she does love Disney movies, and he is locked in a kind of dungeon prison. Anyway, super fun. I'm really excited to start writing those. Those are the two that I'm really working on, but the one out of them both that I'm really working on is the contemporary romance, but they're both going to be big series. So the dark romance Marriage and Convenience is going to have like 8 books. I know that sounds really, really crazy. And the Marriage and Convenience is not Marriage and Convenience. The the contemporary romance is going to have 2 series. One is going to be heavily about parenthood and children. That's going to be a 5-book series. And then there's going to be a spin-off that is just kind of going to be just a romance, cowboy, small town series that's going to have 4 books. So that's a 9-book series, technically, if you really think about it, because there's a spin-off. My goal is to be an author. I would love to just be able to write books and stay home with my kids all day. That's kind of the dream. I also love making YouTube videos and talking to people. So far, I don't have a lot of followers. I have 5 or 6, but it's the thought that counts, and it's the fun that I'm having while I do it as well. But my big dream is to just be someone's comfort creator, and they just come on and they get a smile when they see me, and they're like, oh my god, this bitch knows good books. That's exactly what I want. But I might leave this series here, so if there's anything that you guys want to know about me, please leave it in the comment section down below, whether it's bookish, whether it's personal. I am an open book. I will tell you guys absolutely anything, even if it will send me in prison. That was a little bit dramatic, but you can kind of get my point. I tell you what, these videos get absolutely chaotic when I do not have a script to follow. Well, this is it for this week's video, but I hope I see you guys for next week's video. I post every single Tuesday, and I hope I will see you at the next one. Love you guys.